Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another day of Onward VRML action. I am your host for today, Sleepy, and I will be bringing you all of our action this afternoon. And today's matchup is going to be an explosive one for sure. Today we've got for you BossFight versus Beginners, two EU Titans ready to fight it out here on the three maps today for our series. We are here in the war room, so let's go ahead and cover a couple of quick things before we get started. I have not seen the lobby go up yet, so I do not know map 1 pick. However, we will go ahead and cover our bans. Coming out from the away team side, the beginner side, the ban is actually going to be Subway, which after seeing in recent weeks how BossFight is able to execute on that map, I do not blame them for this ban. I think it's a smart ban. Then from the side of our own team, BossFight, we do have a ban onto Cargo. So obviously, Cargo, a pretty good map for beginners, though I don't see BossFight doing badly on it very often. But it'll be hard to tell, so we'll have to see. Give me just a moment. Let me check and see if my lobby is up. Not quite yet. Okay, so I don't have our first map pick. Maybe the captain will shoot me the map pick before the lobby is set, but we're just a minute after match start time, so not too bad, not too late yet. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. We have two casts going on right now. Trip has the Pacifists versus... Ah, shoot, I forgot. It was just in my head. But that's over on OML 2. Then, of course, we have BossFight versus Beginners here. And then later tonight, we have a couple more casts. I believe Trip has picked up the G-Men, or the Blaze Globochem game. And then TFH has actually hopped on in the co-caster's chair with me later to pick up the G-Men versus Danglers. So a lot of great games still to come on the Sunday Slaughterhouse matchups. Let me see again. Let me go ahead and do my due diligence to check on these lobbies. Yeah, nothing yet. But yeah, it's been some interesting games this week. A lot of crazy action. Yesterday we saw a great matchup between Space Force and the Five Horsemen. An uncasted match, Animal House. A serious underdog victory against the mighty Globochem. Has the league in awe right now. Of course, it had to happen on the game that wasn't casted yesterday, but you know, still all around, we've seen some excellent Onward play, not only this week, but in the season in general, and you know, that's I love that. Like, I have had a huge Onward chubby, I guess. I mean, like, I don't want to say boner on stream, but I've got a huge Onward boner from this season's games, and it's been just fantastic. I couldn't be more happy. There have been some issues that have stressed me a little bit, or added some stress on me as a moderator, but as a caster and as a fan of Onward and in this competitive VR esports scene, I've just been really happy with the quality of gameplay we've been seeing. So thanks to all our players for really duking it out, giving it their all every week. That is very much appreciated. But it looks like my lobby may be up now. Let me just find my password again, and I do think I have our first map. So, on that, we will talk about it. Our first map, which will be coming out from the side of course, our home team, is going to be, drumroll please. Yeah, I won't make you wait that long. It's going to be Suburbia. So we'll see exactly how that works out for BossFight. Do they think they can handle it? Can they take the mighty beginners down on this very old map in which all the players involved on both sides, to be honest, have had a lot of experience, and very happy right now because I see a name in this lobby that I have not seen in a long time, and he's just recently joined the reservists again, so not surprised to see him filling in for his old alma mater today, but we'll get into that in just a moment while I finish setting up our lobby here for today's matchup. Hope everyone out there is doing okay. Again, thank you to all for tuning in. Much appreciated for that. Very much indeed. Is it just... Why am I getting... I feel like I'm getting different maps background noises. right now on Suburbia, but it could just be me. Maybe I'm just not paying attention to those sounds that much anymore. Anyway, so our first map will be Suburbia, and while the teams are still filing in, let's go ahead and take a look at the active rosters that'll be playing as well. So as we jump back in the tent here, looks like BossFight is either still getting its players into the lobby or they're going to be changing up the lobbies. Not really too sure on that. But currently in our lobby, for the side of beginners, they have their entire roster fielded so far. We've got the captain, Dr. Killinger, the Woods brothers, IC Woods, and Woods43. Of course, our favorite memester and living meme himself, Mr. Smoils. And then Keb, the wonderful, mysterious Keb, filling out the roster for the beginners. Then on the side of BossFight, at least everyone who is currently here, we have Lego, Bullets for Breakfast, and then our mysterious reservist that I have yet to mention. It's the Lonely Viper! Viper has graced us with his energetic presence here on today's cast and in today's match. He's recently come back to the league a little bit as a reservist, so again, not surprised to see him available to play in a match for BossFight as a reservist. I'm sure things will feel right at home for the old Viper as he comes back to kind of just do what he loves, which is playing Onward and getting back with the BossFight guys. I mean, he's been kind of neglecting us guys. Let's be honest. Let's be real here. That Viper gone a little Pavlovian on me. Pavlovian, I should say. Aha. No, but for real, Viper's been putting out a lot of content, which has been great for the overall VR scene. So, you know, good for him for doing that. And of course, we love him for being back as a reservist, but we are still waiting on the rest of that BossFight lineup, so, well, you're just gonna have to listen to me babble. Let's see who's hanging out with us today so far. Users in the chat. Alfred Judokus. Judokus 817. A Snowbird, okay. Seeing some league names now. Lurks. Mixologist, welcome to the party, sir. Polizie. Raz. TFH, I don't know why you're sitting in the chat and not sitting in my co-caster's chair, but you know what, I'm gonna let that slide. Silent Knight, Snooperfax, and Tate, thanks everyone for coming out, we do appreciate that, but I'm actually going to go quiet on you guys for a moment while we figure out what exactly is going on here and how we can get those folks back into our lobby and get this game rocking. So give me just a few minutes, folks, and we will be right back. Thank you so much. Okay, well, it looks like I didn't need to take much of a break at all because as I went and set up all my audio levels, take a break there. BossFight finished loading into the lobby, so we are all set. We'll finish going over their roster. So again, we have Lego, Viper, the reservist slash former member of BossFight. So again, not surprised to see him available to help out his team as a legal reservist. Bullets for Breakfast, Mad Scientist, and Scooby-Doo will be our final members of the BossFight roster. And then, of course, again, we have Killinger, the Woods brothers, Smoils, and Kev over on the side for beginners. So we are on Suburbia to remind everyone again, and our bans have been, let's see, Cargo and Subway. Of course, beginners banning Subway against BossFight, as BossFight tend to love to use Subway against their opponents in order to best them, especially on the map decider. So Subway will not be seen today. Cargo not as well. Beginners pretty strong on that map as well for being a little bit more methodical, though that map we do see that they sometimes have that ability to change things up, so that is always nice. And honestly, it's becoming necessary in order to compete at the top anymore. You have to be able to change your dynamic and your play style up at this point, because otherwise you're just going to get left behind by the other teams like Global Chem and Beginners and others who have started to learn how to do just that. Just going to let our teams know that I am ready when they are, hoping we can get this bad boy kicked off soon, but I assume both teams are probably still planning, knowing these two teams, very, very plan-oriented teams, going in with very clear instructions, very clear spots and objectives to pull off in a certain time frame. Again, I hate always having to use the word methodical for these teams, but I just don't know any other word to use to describe it. Thorough, maybe, is an adjective I can use. I guess I need a thesaurus just for the word methodical. So chat, feel free to DM me in Discord. Send me some alternatives to methodical so I can stop calling every European team methodical, or at least change that up. But anyways, we all know it's true. Both teams are very, very plan-oriented, and that is fine. It is a valid way to play Onward. Must I remind folks that just because your way works for you, it does not always work for another group of 5 or 8 players, whatever have you. Each team works well with what they have. They know their player constitution and chemistry. They know what is going to work. They know what's not going to work. A team like Beginners, they obviously think that their fast plays just don't work out as well, so they don't try them as much. Whereas other teams like BossFight, who were once a very, very